everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we are diving into an important topic that's a key part of your curriculum, no matter which specialized exam you are preparing for, whether it is the central idea or main idea or the purpose. The concept remains the same. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on more valuable lessons like this in the future. Now, let's get started. Moving ahead, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Namita Jaiswal, an international expert in education, training, and finance. With over 50,000 hours of teaching experience, I have had the privilege of training more than 35,000 students across different background and age group. I'm IDP certified trainer, I'm TESOL and TEFL, and specialized in standardized test preparation, including IELTS, PTE, SAT, ACT, and the others, guiding students from basic to advanced level. Over the years, I have helped thousands of test takers. Now, it's your turn. Before beginning with the session, I would request you again to subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this. Now, the topic which we are covering today is central idea or main idea. So, what is this actually? So, you have to understand one thing. The main idea should always be the summarizing of the key points of the paragraph. Okay, so highlight specific points while reading the paragraph and then combine all of them to get your central idea or the summary of the paragraph or the whole passage. Now, the strategy which we are going to use here is now, when answering main idea questions, both correct and incorrect answers tend to follow certain patterns which you have to understand. Understanding these help you eliminate the wrong choices more easily and get your right answer. Now, the first one here is general versus specific. So, correct answers are usually broad and general, whereas incorrect answers often include specific details from the passage, which makes them less likely to capture the overall message. Now, just let me just write it down for you. Right? This is something which you have to consider. Now, moving ahead with the another strategy, avoid word traps. Now, what do you mean by this? You have to be cautious of answer choices that repeat exact words from the passage, especially difficult vocabulary. Now, these questions test your ability to understand the big picture rather than recognizing words. So, this is not a vocabulary test. This is recognizing and understanding the paragraph. So, again, what you have to do, you have to be cautious of your choices when you are eliminating the wrong options to get the right one. Okay. Is it clear? I hope I'm clear here. You can take notes. Please do take notes in your notebook so that when you're practicing, you can revise the same. Now, moving ahead with the third strategy, that is watch the first word. What do you mean by this? The first verb in an answer choice should match the passage's purpose. Example, if the passage presents an opinion, verbs like defend, suggest, or make the case are more likely to be correct. Okay. Now, this is what you have to keep in mind. So, by keeping these patterns in mind, you can quickly do what? You can narrow down your choices and improve your accuracy to answer the question main idea. Okay. These are the pointers which I have mentioned here, so you can take notes. Now, moving ahead, now, what are the steps you need to follow while answering these questions? That is also very important. Now, step number one, read and understand the question. So what you have to do here is you have to identify the type of the question. What kind of question is that? When you're giving a specialized exam, they'll not inform you that this is a type of the question. Okay, you have to understand by reading the instruction and the question. You have to compare the answer choices to understand what is the requirement of the question. Now, the next step here is read and understand the passage. That is very important, right? Now, The third step here, what you have to do is use process of elimination. It's a tool which you can use to eliminate the wrong answers to get the right one. I hope I'm clear here. So what you have to do, read and understand the question type, read and the passage and summarize here, and then use process of elimination tools, right? These are few things which you have to keep in mind when you're solving this kind of question. Now, let's move ahead. Let's practice an exercise. This exercise is given to you, as you can see on my screen. Left side, you have the passage, and the right side, you have the question along with the options. You have to read the option and you have to select one best answer for the same. Now, because this is a main idea, so you have to understand that when you're reading the entire portion, you have to come up with a sentence that is talking about the entire paragraph. Okay. Now, please mind this. Okay. Information giving you part of the paragraph, that is not your answer. That cannot be your answer. You have to see that what the entire paragraph or what the entire passage is actually talking about. Now, here, as you can see, I'll give you 30 seconds to go through the paragraph. Your 30 seconds starts now. Okay. Now here, Navajo weaver Lily Taylor creates dyes in the given paragraph, right? For wool using plants and vegetables from Arizona. Now, for example, in her 2003 rug in the Path of the Four Seasons, she made deep red and browns by drying and grinding Arizona dock rolls. Then mixing the powder with water to create a dye, right? Now, to make some colors stand out more, she sometimes adds clay from the local soil. Now, what is the main idea here? So, Lily Taylor now here uses natural materials from Arizona. You're getting this? Now, such as plants, vegetables, and clay to create what? To create dyes for her wool rugs. Now, let's look into the options. Now, option A. Now, option A, as you can see, since the passage does not suggest that red and browns are unusual in Taylor's rug, rather it provides an example of a rug that includes those colors, isn't it? So this is my incorrect choice. Now going ahead with B. Now B tells us there is no mention of in the Path of the Four Seasons being widely acclaimed or the weaving techniques being innovative, right? So that is what it is not talking about. So this is also incorrect. Okay, now let's move on to C. Taylor's draws on local resources in the approach she uses to dye wool. So this is something which is matching, right? The passage highlights how artist Lily Taylor uses local plants and vegetables from Arizona to create dyes for woods, isn't it? So we can keep this for the moment. Now let's look into option D. Now, here in D, it says Taylor finds it difficult to locate Arizona dock routes in the desert. Now, the passage does not indicate that Taylor struggles to find Arizona dock route. So this cannot be the answer again. So C is my correct answer. This is how you have to go ahead. Okay. Read the paragraph, go through the options one by one. Okay. Eliminate the wrong choices to get the right one. So you have to read all the options properly. Now, let's move on to the second exercise. If you have any doubts, please write down in the comment section below. Now, moving ahead with this. Okay, now this will be doing it together. European zoos of the late 19th and early 20th centuries incorporated the visual cultures of their animals' native homes into ornate buildings. Okay, reflections of their notions colonial aspirations. The Berlin Zoo's ostrich house resembled an Egyptian temple, okay, with large columns flanking the entrance and scenes of ostrich hunt decorating the exterior. Berlin's elephant enclosure was built in the spirits of a Hindu temple. The home for its giraffes adopted an Islamic architectural style. Zoos in Cologne, Lisbon, Antwerp, and Budapest among others, created similar exhibits. These zoos were no home for subtlety. The animals they contained were exotic to most visitors. The buildings that did not containing reinforced the sensation. Now, what is this paragraph actually talking about? The passage discusses how European zoos in the late 19th and the early 20th centuries designed their animal enclosures to reflect the architectural styles of the animal's native land. This was done to emphasize their exotic nature and reinforce the colonial ideas. Now, the correct answer should capture both the architectural design aspects and the focus on the exoticism, right? Now let's move on to the option. Option A, building in the late 19th and the early 20th, the European zoos emphasized the exotic origins of the animals they housed. Now here, this choice somehow reflects the main idea. The buildings were designed to emphasize the exotic origins of the animals. So we can keep this. Now let's move on to option B. Now, many buildings in the late 19th and the early 20th centuries, European zoos were built to resemble Egyptian temples. Now, while the passage does mention Egyptian style buildings, it also describes other styles, Hindu, Islamic, etc., making this choice too narrow to represent the main idea. So, this is going to be eliminated. Now, option C. Now, the passage here, if you just look into it, okay, European zoos in the late 19th and the early 20th centuries sought to evoke subtle emotions in their visitors. Okay, now the passage states that the designs were bold and obvious rather than subtle, making this choice again incorrect. Now, during the late 19th and the early 20th centuries, most of the animals in European zoos came from outside of Europe. Okay, the passage states that the designs were bold and obvious, right? So this is what we have seen. Now, option D again, although the passage here implies that many animals came from outside Europe, but the main focus is on how their enclosures were designed, not the origins of the animals themselves, right? So again, this is my incorrect choice. Now, the correct answer here is A. Okay, because it captures both the purpose and impact of the architectural designs in these zoos. So this is how you have to solve. Read the instruction because we have already discussed that this is the main idea of the text. Okay, go to the paragraph, read the paragraph, summarize the paragraph in your own words, then go to the options one by one, check all the options to get the right one. Is it clear, guys? Amazing. Now, so this is it for today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay engaged with us. Keep participating, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.